I wanted to make this video earlier in the week because I thought about it and then I tried to make notes on it, but I literally never script my videos. I just like record and post. But I saw Taylor Myrie, Moster Myrie, she posted, so the video was called like, why does everybody look the same? Why is everyone having all these experiences? Well, she actually had this other video. Maybe I'll go watch it and then come back here. But it was like a girl talk, and then I think I had to stop it like halfway or something because I had something else to do. But so she's just chit chatting about like all of these things in her life, and she's like, yeah, but I'm not sure like where to go now, or I'm not sure what's happening with me, and I just feel so lost because like none of my goals are being accomplished, and I heard her and I was like, oh my god, I see you. That's how I felt, and I just kind of wanted to make this video just from a worldview that I personally experienced, because she was like, I'm 20, like nobody has it figured out at 20. A lot of people have it figured out at 20. Like, and I've said this and I'll say it again, women have a schedule for life. Like, women have a place in society, Black women included, kind of. So we have like just entered this particular space of like Black women being considered like publicly attractive in the social sphere. Like we actually have Black socialites who are just like Black, like Lori Harvey, or like really Beyonce, Rihanna. Um, I mean, yeah, Sierra's like a really great example, actually. But so there are these Black women, right, and they're occupying real spaces in society, like their wives, their mothers, their entertainers, their business owners. Like they fully have a seat at the table. And I think what most of Marie is experiencing is this sort of like, um, how do you say it? It's a moment in between where I think she realized, like, she probably sees in some proximal view, like, what is happening in white society all around her, and like what probably white girls are talking about and what they're experiencing. And then she's kind of like looking at herself and being like, this isn't happening for me. I don't understand that. The same opportunities aren't really open for me. I don't get it. Like, what is the deal? Now, Kenya talked about this in her last podcast, which, Myri, if you haven't listened to this and you do end up watching this video, I'd encourage you to listen to it. What Kenya was saying is like, there was an open space for Emma Chamberlain. And you might be like, why? Is it because she's like so much better than like everyone else? She's just so talented. No, that isn't the case. Like, in all of history and all of society in the past and most likely in the future, there will have to be role models for little white girls. Like, there has to be. There always has to be. And so it just so happens at that particular time, society was looking for like an acceptable, white youth role model, and it was her. She was just like there, like her and Madison Beer. They were there. They were there, so they occupied the space, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. The problem is like there is no Black community, so unfortunately, um like the men who are kind of proximal to this community, we'll call it like the Black community, they're all over the place. Like, they don't know really up from down. They don't really understand where they fit in society. They just feel like like everyone sees themselves as an individual. And that's to an extent, it isn't a bad thing, because I do think that with the way the world looks today, you too should see yourself as an individual. But if that is the case, you cannot compare yourself to people who are a part of a collective. And so that means that when you're looking at the life chances and opportunities of white girls who are a part of a collective, or Asian girls who are a part of a collective, and then you see yourself, you have to realize like you aren't a part of a collective, you are an individual. So like the opportunities and privileges that come from them being a part of that collective are not available to you because you are not a part of that collective. And I will go back to this, but I said this already. Like, most people, when they're going to, middle and high school and all of these things, okay, like they know who they're going to marry. It isn't that like they, growing up, if you actually like yourself, and especially even amongst segregation and all the things, like if you actually like yourself, you're probably going to grow up with some people who are kind of similar to you. And like what would be wrong with any of those people, especially for men? Really think about it. Like, women hit their prime at like, maybe 20, 20, 21. And like so that means Taylor, if you're like 20, you're probably like the most beautiful right now that you're ever gonna be. Like you're the most everything that like you're ever gonna be in like your whole life. Maybe you might have like a glow up, but it seems you know how to do your makeup and you seem to know how to like dress a little bit. So like this is it. Like this is your moment. This is your time. And so don't be confused about like if there are men around you who see that and who are attracted to that, because like they probably are and should be. And then even if you're talking about like how do you say, like beauty and influencing, it's very difficult in terms of a lot of black spaces because, well, especially amongst black women, we don't have like one particular look, as in like it. Well, I wouldn't say that. Like, I feel like a lot of Habesha girls look very similar. Like, we have very similar features, very similar like necks, and we actually do look very similar. But I feel like that's mostly why like you'll always see like Habesha girls following other Habesha girls, and like it just doesn't even get more complicated than that. So that's how beauty secrets and tricks and shit is. Those are like, shared. Um, but if you like, you would have to find, like for Taylor in the beauty space, you'd have to find other people who basically look like you. That's the name of the game, because you need to be able to share tips and tricks with the people who look like you. So if there aren't very many people who look like you, which in reality there aren't very many, like Taylor's very light. She's like a lighter skinned woman, and she has like very, very thick hair that she wears like naturally. She's a bit on the like thicker side, like she's kind of chubby-ish. And like I don't know, that is a lane, right? But also then she's not urban at all. And I feel like all of the girls who I see with that particular aesthetic, they're all more urban. They seem to be trending more of the like the lace front, the like I don't know, sweetie sort of like look. So how I don't know, maybe they aren't buying the sort of, makeup or things that you are using as an individual. I don't really know. But my advice though, what I was actually thinking about like pragmatically, is I feel like Taylor has exhausted the information that she can gain from her current social situation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I feel like Taylor has been around people from a particular group for a pretty significant amount of time. So like her parents and her friends. It sounds like she doesn't have many friends, but it does seem like Cameron is one of her friends, which is really good. But I feel like she needs a new experience to gain a different worldview. So like for Taylor, I feel like she's from the South. So like going to live in a big city like New York or like San Francisco or like even Nashville, like something else where everyone is so different from her. Like she needs to be around people who are just like super different from her, who like don't know anything about her. Where she's like so like unique. Like she needs that. I've made a lot of content about this, but I think a really good way of doing this is like going to work at a grocery store in like a smaller town alone, and just honestly meeting people there. Just getting to know people in that community, this new community. You don't know anyone. Or another way to do this is working at a really, really, really nice restaurant wherever she's currently living. Like wherever you are, there's probably like some really nice restaurant. Like go be a host there, because I think that you'll start to understand. You'll start to see the movements of people who are sort of inside a circle that you are not accustomed to. Like you'll start to see how they're like planning dinner dates, how they're having activities for holidays, how they are going on vacation, family planning, how they're choosing partners. Like all of these things, you'll see them, and then you'll start to understand and compare that to your own life, to your own family members, things like that. And I think that's something that a lot of like Black women miss. And I think that if she were to see that, she might understand why she feels the stagnation that she feels, and probably establish some strategies for working around that. I don't know if that was maybe as helpful as I wanted it to be, but I definitely know it was a start. And I will like look back at this and try to think of a more like pragmatic sort of list style recommendation about how you could have a different experience. Like internships are a really good way to do that. Or even honestly just getting an actual job. Like it seems like she's a she wants to be a makeup girl. So like actually go work at Sephora. Like get a job at Sephora. And then the whole point of getting the job is, first of all, yes, you're gonna put money in your pocket and you're gonna like build up your resume, but also you're gonna be able to read about product launches. Okay, you're gonna see the influencers who actually have the money to buy all of this makeup and the models who come in and stuff. And you can see like what they buy and talk to them about it. And you're gonna learn all of this shit that you could not learn just by sitting on the internet. Like you have to get out into the real world. Like also fashion and beauty, like what is it, if Taylor, if you're super into like makeup and beauty, like who are the models that you're following? Are you going to any like fashion events? Like there's shit happening. It's not just like the YouTube and Jackie Aina way of like putting on makeup in front of your camera and then doing nothing. Like, bro, go out. Like shit is happening out in society. Like go dress up and go to some events, even if it's just a fucking park. Like put on your makeup, go outside, snap a picture in the light. Okay, like you have a real life. Like what is it that you want to do with your real life? And maybe you have an aspiration to be like an actual fashion girl, but maybe you don't. I don't know.